Have you ever worked on a project, reached the halfway point, and then, what happened? A crisis transpires. You can receive a request for a new feature from your supervisor, or a member of your team might require assistance with a different department. Even if you are aware that the changes you are currently making are beneficial, you cannot allow them to clutter up your workstation. This, my friends, is where the Git stash becomes your coding superhero. It's like shoving your unfinished project into a magic box, safe and sound, until you can come back to it later. In this video, we'll learn how to stash like a pro, so you can tackle urgent tasks without losing your precious work. But before we dive into the command line, let's rewind a sec. What's a messy workspace? Imagine your code base as a pristine kitchen. You've prepped ingredients, modified files, chopped some veggies, made edits, and maybe even started simmering the sauce, partially completed feature. But then, the fire alarm blares. You gotta deal with that burnt toast situation, urgent task, before your apartment fills with smoke, project goes haywire. Now, you wouldn't throw away all your prepped food, right? That'd be a waste. Similarly, in Git, you wouldn't just delete your uncommitted changes. That's where stashing comes in. It's like shoving your prepped ingredients, uncommitted changes, into a Tupperware container, the stash, so you can deal with the fire, urgent task, and come back to finish your delicious dish, your project, later. Alright, let's stash it. Now that we've got the analogy down, let's get our hands dirty with some commands. Here's the magic incantation to stash your changes. Git stash. Yep, that's it. Simple, right? But wait, there's more. Git stash is like a Swiss Army knife, offering different options depending on the situation. Adding a message, sometimes, your stashes can pile up. To keep things organized, you can add a message with the M flag. Git stash MWIP on login feature. This gives your stash a meaningful name, making it easier to identify later. Including untracked files, by default, Git stash only saves tracked files, those already added to the staging area. If you have new files, untracked, use the include untracked flag. Git stash include untracked. This ensures all your work, including fresh files, is safely tucked away. Okay, I've stashed it. Now what? Great question. You've got a few options. Peeking inside, want to see what's hidden in your stash? Use Git stash list. Git stash list. This displays a numbered list of your stashes, along with any messages you added. Bringing it back, ready to resume your work from a specific stash? Use Git stash pop. Git stash pop stash at 0 / replace 0 with the stash number. This applies the changes from your chosen stash back to your working directory. Applying, but keeping, prefer to keep your stash changes around? Use Git stash apply. Git stash apply stash at 0 / replace 0 with the stash number. This applies the stash changes, but doesn't remove them from the list. Cleaning up your stash. Once you're done with a stash, you can remove it using Git stash drop. Git stash drop stash at 0 / replace 0 with the stash number. This permanently deletes the chosen stash from your history. Remember, the power is in your hands. The Git stash is a powerful tool for managing your workflow. It allows you to temporarily set aside uncommitted changes, tackle other tasks, and then seamlessly pick up where you left off. So, the next time your coding world throws a curveball, remember your new superhero move, the Git stash.